What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the vlog. It is coronavirus quarantine vlog number 3. You know we're back at it. We're still stuck in the house, but we're in Wisconsin right now and the weather's pretty good, so I decided to come outside today. Normally when I wake up and do a little reading some Les Brown right now. Live your dreams, highly recommend it. First off, thank you so much for the support on the last video again. Y'all doubled my number of subscribers on one video. I don't think we're gonna be able to do it again this time, but let's see. If you haven't yet, make sure you tap that subscribe button below, and while you're at it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. You know, thank you guys so much for the support. As y'all know, basically everything in this joint's been shut down because of the quarantine. That includes my first bodybuilding competition. If y'all watched my 5-year transformation video, y'all would see that over the last couple months I was preparing for my first bodybuilding competition. It was a WNBF bodybuilding competition, which is the World Natural Bodybuilding Federation. The bodybuilding show that I was actually trying to do was a pro qualifier. If I won my class in the show, which means like my height division, and then if I won the overall as well, I actually would have gotten my pro card and your boy would be a professional bodybuilder. Unfortunately, the show didn't happen, so I don't know if I would have won or not. However, because of the whole bodybuilding prep process, I actually was able to learn a lot from the whole journey, and I have a whole bunch of feedback that I have from that process, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I think it might be applicable to some of you and your fitness goals or just your life goals in general. So today we're going to be doing a SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Alright, so I have a whole bunch of notes written down about things that I learned throughout my bodybuilding prep, and so I'm just going to go over them with y'all and share all the information that I've learned throughout this journey with you guys. So let's go ahead and start with the strengths that I learned from my bodybuilding prep competition. The first thing I learned is that losing weight, for me at least, is not that hard and not that bad. I'd actually never gone on a weight loss diet before, so I had never tried to lose weight. But I am naturally an ectomorph, in case you couldn't tell by old skinny Evan. And so it's actually fairly easy to take the weight off, but it's really hard for me to put weight of any sorts on in the first place. And so something that I learned along the way is that losing that weight and sticking to the diet once I have the diet established is something that I'm particularly good at, especially when there's an end goal in mind, like a bodybuilding show. And the really nice thing is that having the weeks count down and just knowing that the show is getting closer and closer and there's a finite amount of time left where I can work out and eat correctly, it really pushed me to make sure that I didn't cheat on my diet at all and there was no bad habits being formed. Another strength of mine is that at the lowest point in the prep, my calories got down to 2,700 calories, which is still more than most people's maintenance. That was absolutely fantastic, because what that means for me is that there's still plenty of room to lower the calories in my diet if I were to do a bodybuilding prep over again and I was getting towards the end and the fat wasn't coming off. I know that I can still lower the calories even more and be able to shed even more weight faster if I needed to. I think all of my strengths really have to do with the fact that my body is naturally kind of an ectomorph. So there are 3 different body types. There's ectomorphs, endomorphs, and mesomorphs. And to be honest, I'm not an expert on body types and I really don't know all the nuances and differences between these, but what I do know is that an ectomorph is really good at losing weight naturally, whereas a mesomorph naturally holds on to more weight. And so it really has to do with how your body reacts to food that it's intaking and your frame and what your body's natural tendencies are. So moving on to weaknesses and some of the things that I messed up during my bodybuilding prep. One thing that I kind of realized is that I lost weight way too fast. I actually was able to track my body weight and I weighed myself every single morning, first thing after using the restroom, before eating any food or drinking any water. So I had really consistent data on my body weight throughout the entire 10-week period. I actually had this awesome graph right here, but even with all that consistency in my data tracking, you can see that the trend wasn't quite linear. So one of the things that I learned during this time was that you can actually average your weekly weight, and that gives you a lot better idea of if you're losing weight or gaining weight and how fast you're losing it. So when I averaged my weight with the weekly weight, I actually saw that I was losing weight at approximately 2 pounds a week, 1.8 to 2.1 pounds a week, depending on the week. Now, that's a pretty fast weight loss rate. If you're trying to lose fat and hold on to as much muscle as possible, they recommend that at most you lose 1% of your body weight a week. Now, for most people, that means somewhere between 1.5 to 2 pounds per week is the maximum rate of weight loss that you want to have. And I was kind of edging up towards the high end of that. It wasn't quite over the limit. Hey, Champers, what's up, boy? Come here, boy. Up. Come here, boy. Come here. Want to say hi to the people? Hi, boy. Dog break. Anyways, because I started off the bodybuilding prep weighing about 216, 217 pounds, the rate of weight loss wasn't quite over that 1% limit, but it was a little closer than I'd like it to be. I think I had a little bit too much fat on my frame at the beginning, and if I could, I think moving forward, I definitely need to make sure that I'm holding less body fat on the average day than I was at that point, or at least give myself a longer period of time to lose that body fat. Another huge thing that I messed up during this prep is that I didn't have a cardio baseline. Now, this is really embarrassing, but starting at the beginning of the prep, I could not remember the last time that I went on a long run or even just like a jog over a mile since high school. I think cardiovascular endurance is extremely important for your overall health and especially for bodybuilding. If you care about your body and you're trying to build a body that's healthy and looks good, it's really important to make sure that you do cardio. Now, cardio is a really awesome tool because it burns a lot of calories really fast. So if I were to go do a half hour on the stair stepper, I could burn, depending on how fast the stair stepper's going, I could burn anywhere from 300 to 600 calories. Now what that means is that I'm burning off basically a whole meal that I ate during the day in a small half-hour period. So at the beginning of the prep, I actually wasn't even doing any cardio and I started losing weight. And at the end of the prep, I ended up doing cardio about every single day in order to maintain the same weight loss rate. Now, I think it would have been a lot healthier for myself if I had been doing a half hour of cardio at the beginning of the prep and eating higher calories, and then towards the end, instead of adding in all of that cardio, I could have just kept doing cardio at the same rate and brought back the calories down. Because if I was doing cardio 3 times a week, that means I could have been eating an extra 300 calories on those days and still maintaining my weight at the beginning of the prep. Now, another weakness that I really didn't see coming, which I should have seen coming, is that your workouts really lose intensity when you get towards a low calorie deficit. If you're going on weeks and weeks and weeks of eating less than your body needs to maintain the size that it has, you're gonna get tired, you're gonna get worn out, and it's really gonna start digging at you. And I had a couple gym partners towards the beginning of my prep who were really good at making sure that my workouts stayed intense and I kept lifting heavy weights like I should be. But towards the end of the prep, my gym partners kind of fell off a little bit, and so what that meant is that I really had to try to keep myself accountable for all my workouts. And I never missed a workout, but the intensity kind of fell off at the end, and I had to work out I had to be in the gym for like 2.5, 3 hours just to get all my sets in because I kept taking longer and longer breaks in between my sets. I think that was because I was so tired, but I still refused to actually not do the reps and move the weight that I know I should be moving. There are a couple other weaknesses that I have as well. I think most of those are all like physical appearance weaknesses. So I actually didn't train that much core or upper chest at the beginning of the prep or for even like months leading up to it. And then once I started evaluating my physique and I started losing body fat, I kind of realized that those areas were lacking in proportion to the other areas of my body. So moving forward, I really just need to make sure that I am constantly evaluating the way I look and making sure that I'm doing exercises that I need to do to make sure that my proportions stay right so that next time I go to stand on stage, my body looks more like what the judges are looking for in the judging criteria. Alright, moving on to threats. Now there are a couple real ones here, and I think a lot of people can relate to these threats, especially if they have goals they're working on that other people don't quite understand. The first threat that I have written down is bad friends. Bodybuilding specifically is a really weird sport where you have to eat a really strict diet and get plenty of sleep and avoid bad things like alcohol for your body, which hurt your body's ability to recover from workouts and lose body fat. Now, I had some friends that were very supportive of my goals, including my roommates. Shout out to Matt and Ben. But there were others who were trying to encourage me to go out to eat, trying to encourage me to drink alcohol, and trying to encourage me to go to the bars and things like that that are just really not the best for someone who's trying to stay super healthy and prepare for competition. I actually haven't drank alcohol now in 3 or 4 months. Just because I realized that the only thing alcohol does is interfere with your goals, and if you're serious about yourself and moving forward and accomplishing something, it's just another thing that's gonna take up your time and not add value to what you're doing. Another threat that's always looming when you're on a diet is the threat of cheating on the diet. And so I actually had to develop like a lot of different ways that would keep me from eating bad meals. So my next video that's gonna drop is actually gonna be my top 5 favorite products for weight loss, and really what those products are just the things that I use when I have food cravings that I'm able to eat and consume without adding calories to my diet. So things like gum, pop, or 0 calorie and low calorie food items are really important for keeping you sticking to your weight loss plan. And they definitely help fulfill the sweet cravings that you have if you're a person who likes chocolate like I do. The last threat that I want to talk to you guys about is I think one that also affects a lot of people, and it's complacency. Most people, especially around times like New Year's, which is when I started my bodybuilding prep, set goals and they don't really have a plan towards achieving those goals. One thing that really helped me is that I did have a plan towards achieving that goal, and I had a meal plan and a workout plan set out right in front of me. But there's always the threat that you're not evaluating that meal plan and evaluating that workout plan. The ability to just settle into that new routine and not make sure that you're getting better and better every single day is definitely a big threat, and I think like a big risk for a lot of people when they're achieving goals. If you want to do something this year, you can't really wait for anyone else to encourage you to do it or ask you to do it or do it for you. It's just not going to happen. The best thing that you can do is make sure you keep that goal in your mind and think about it at least once or twice a day, and make sure that you're taking active steps towards that goal and achieving it, because that's what's going to get you where you want to go. Alright, now that we got over the threats, let's talk a little bit more about the opportunities that we have for this next year so that we can make 2020 and this horrific quarantine situation the best thing that happened to us. So, big opportunity right off the bat. Obviously YouTube. Sitting around the house all day, there's a lot of extra time. Obviously I'm in school still, so I have schoolwork to do, and I can kind of work out in the home gym downstairs, but I really don't have access to things like restaurants, so I can't go out to eat. I can't go to the gym and really get a good lift in. So this time right now is time that I can use to develop myself and do things like start my YouTube channel or continue to read and start up that habit again. So I think you just gotta make the best of this quarantine situation, and I think using it as an opportunity to better myself is the best thing for me. Another big opportunity is the new workout program that I started this year. So instead of doing push-pull legs, I'm doing back and chest, shoulders and arms, and then legs and accessories on one day. So accessories would be calves and core. And I think that new split gives me more intensity in my workouts, and it gave me a new focus. My body's kind of reacting to it differently, and I think that's a really good opportunity for me to add muscle to my frame. Another big opportunity is my weight tracking and body measurements. So I actually have a body caliper now, so I can get fat readings on different parts of my body. So the body caliper costs like 10 bucks on Amazon, and what it is you can do a pinch test of the fat on your body. And so using that and your body weight, you can actually figure out what your body fat percentage is. And so as I'm going through this next year and I'm bulking up before my next competition, I can make sure that I use those tools to make sure that I'm putting on good quality mass and good muscle, and that I'm not adding too much fat to my frame so I don't get put in the same position that I was in last year before I started this prep. And then the last opportunity that I want to talk to you guys about is, some of you guys know this, and if you're new to the channel you might not know this, but I'm actually moving to Texas now in about 2 months. And it's really awesome because there are a ton of cool warehouse gyms that are all over the Houston area. And what that means is that there are more opportunities to create content, there are better places to lift, better atmospheres, and more people who are trying to pursue the same things that I am. And so I think that this next year is going to be really fantastic because I'm going to be able to produce even more content and just work on my bodybuilding journey to an even higher level. Yeah, and guys, like I mentioned, because of the whole quarantine situation, a lot of us have goals or aspirations that have to be put on hold at the moment that we can't really work on. But that doesn't mean that you have to sit in your house all day and do absolutely nothing. You can go for a run, go for a walk, start your online business, start investing, read a book, work on yourself. And I think that if everyone does that during this quarantine, not only is the time going to pass faster, but you're going to leave the quarantine a better person because of it. And I think that that positivity and that attitude is something that a lot of people need right now. So, if you don't mind me, I'm going to get back to reading my book, and drinking my tea, and enjoying this nice beautiful day.